This conference will now be recorded.
So in the last class, we just saw the deployment part. I mean, with respect to your GitHub and all those things. So now let's try to see if the code is not in GitHub. If the code is within your Azure or within your Azure repository. In that scenario, how can you have your things done? How can you build your job? How can you deploy your things in here? So it's not so here everything taken care by Azure, but with the, when you are in a Azure level, it's not so simple and straightforward in. So you have to create your own CI/CD pipelines with respect to your application and all those things. But to have my Azure reports created or to have my pipelines run in here, so what should I do within my Azure level? So for that reason being, the very first thing is like I need to create an organization in here. So what is the organization? Why do we require this particular part in here? So see, generally with respect to your all the, for example, you have a ABC company. So you have a ABC company in here. This is my company in here. So where you can see multiple clients. For example, I'm having something like a banking client in here. So banking, and also I have my insurance client, and also have my something like your retail client. So these are like different kind of clients I have with respect to my company in here. So again, with respect to each and every client, I may be having multiple applications like application one, or my application 2, or my application 3. So similar to this one, I may be having for my respective other clients as well. Other clients as well in here. Let me pull this up. So this is 3 things for my respective banking client. These 3 applications with respect to my insurance client, and these 3 applications, with respect to my retail client in. So now supposing that here there are, when you talk about application, there may be your 3 to 4 members or team members working with respect to application 1 in here. Similarly here as well, or some again 3 to 6 members will be working in here, and suppose 2 to 3 members working from application 2 in here. The similar case with all other my application here as well, in here as well. So now the main thing is here, like so when I'm trying to create a cloud, or when I'm trying to create a repository, so that particular repository should be belongs to one of my application here. So suppose think that I want to create a repository, and I want to have my code with respect to application 1, and that belongs to my banking in here. So this repository can be accessible by whom? By these 3 to 4 members of people what you have in here, because these are authorized people who tend to touch base with the repository in here. Now supposing that, so I have the people with respect to my insurance client, I have the people with respect to my retail client in here, So when you are working for a particular application for banking sector, can your people who are working in my insurance client, or the people who are working in my retail client, can also view the code, or can you call and also see what's happening in banking in here? It should is it right way to happen, guys? Yes or no? See, you are working for a banking project, and your colleagues are working for your insurance project, and other friend is also is there, third person is working for a retail project. So when you're working for your banking project in here, do your colleague or your other friend, is it really good to look into your code in here? Obviously no. Why? Because this is a separate project, this is a separate client, and this is a separate client. It's not even within the same application, within the same client in here. So among the same banking, I have 3 applications. So these people may have a chance to look into your other application code in here, but because everybody who are working over here belongs to the same client, but whenever the persons are working for separate clients in here, how they can go and peep into some other project details in here? They should not do that, correct? For that reason being, to make the security things, what I have done is like I have created one. So we have one option called as organization within our Azure level. So what I'll do, I will try to create my organization one with respect to my banking sector one, and I'll try to create my organization two with respect to my insurance sector, and finally one more organization three with respect to my retail sector in here. So that the people, when I go with my organization, under my organization I can create my multiple repositories, I can create my multiple projects where all these repositories or projects belongs to only one organization here. So what is that? Your banking. Similarly, I can create my projects, my create repositories, all those things which belongs to only insurance in here. So similar to my retail as well in here. So when you try to create an organization, it's trying to separate the clients, in here. So you will not have common platform, you will not have common repositories for or common projects for all the clients what to see in here. Okay, so that is the reason being you need a separate organization with respect to my each and every client in here. And under each organization, again what I'll do, to have my repository created and to create my project first. Okay, so here again what I'll do, I'll go ahead under my organization, I'll create my project in here. So this is my project with respect to my organization, or I would say it's like project one, and if it's a project two, and under this one it's a project three in here. So under each project, now again, I can either have one repository. By default, once you create one project, you can have one repository in here created by automatically. Or if you want, you can add on more repositories as well. You can do it manually as per the requirement. Okay, so for three applications under my banking project, for each application I can go with one repository each in here, where all these three repositories are coming under project one. This is one of the scenario. The other scenario is like, I can have my organization, under that I can have my project, under my project I can have my rep one in here. Similarly, under the same organization I can create my project 2, and under my project 2 I have my rep 2 in here, or I can create my, under same organization I can create my project 3, under my project 3 I can have my rep 3. So even this is possible, guys. One organization, under that project, under project by default you can see one repository will be created, and if you want you can add more repositories in here, or else under the organization you can have one project created. By default you'll be having rep 1, and if you do not want to add your repository in the same project, not a problem, you can go with your multiple projects for the same things in here. So this one will be for my app 1. Similarly, this one will be for my app 2, and finally this one will be for my app 3. So app 1 project 1 rep 1, app 2 project 2 rep 2, app 3 project 3 rep 3, or in this scenario I can go with the app 1 and here rep 2 for my application 2 and my rep 3 for my application 3 in short. So even this kind of stuff is possible, or this kind of mode is also possible. Neither of the way how you want to go with, you can create the things in here, not a problem at all. Okay, so why do we need organization here? The organization is the one which is trying to separate the clients, where this particular organization will, where all the things, all your projects, all your application what you have in here belongs to only one client in here. So all these things belongs to one client in here. So this one has the own project and own repositories. Similarly, organization 2 has its own project and again own repositories in here. Similarly, my organization 3 has its own project and the own repositories which are pointing to the own respective applications in here. So security point of view, so one people who provide access to my organization 1, they may not have access to organization 2 or my organization 3. or either of the ways you can see the same thing in here. The people who are working in organization T3 may not have access from organization 2 or for my organization 1 in here. So purely stuff for secure level, they are trying to go with the organizations levels in here. Okay. Hope you understood now what is the organization, and under that what are things coming up in here automatically. Right? So now let's go ahead and let's try to create an organization first, and then we can create a project where by default you can see one repository will be created automatically when you're trying to create a project one in here. So we'll try to see that now. So can I expect from you guys, anybody can anybody can be volunteer to create their organization in here within your Azure level? Anybody?
Uh,
Yeah, Mudda sir. Do you want to go with?
yeah,
Okay, I can make you presenter then. Make presenter. Yeah, please open your portal and please share your screen. Mudda sir, are you sharing your screen?
yeah, I'm sharing.
So are
Can't
you
any,
going?
yeah,
Yeah, Mudda sir.
yeah, I'm trying to go to the portal. I don't know what's going on here.
Oh, you're not able to log into your portal.
Now I'm logged in, but I don't know. It doesn't let me go to the portal site.
Can you share your screen?
Uh, it shows me that I'm, sharing my screen. Let me
Mm,
stop. Can you do?
okay, let me share my screen again, and I'll make
Mhm.
you presenter one more time.
Sure.
Yeah, make presenter. Did you get a request to share your screen, Mudda sir?
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Can you see mine?
Not yet.
It's loading. It seems it's loading.
Okay. So probably your network is low.
Yeah, saying some error. Even
Mm,
My Azure is not getting open. It's saying some error going on.
yeah,
I don't know. We're
probably.
talking to each other, but
Yeah. Okay, let's go with someone else. Any other people in here can be volunteer? Okay, no problem, guys. So let me share my screen. I already have my organization. I will try to create one more, not a problem for me. So let me go ahead. User ID, password.
Can
So
you share
once,
once more, Shah?
yeah, it's now okay for you. Okay, I'll
Yeah,
make you present one more time.
yeah, I think so. It's okay right now.
Yeah, I made you presenter, Mutasar.
No, Sham, it's not working again.
Not a problem, not a problem.
Sorry.
Let me get back. Okay, here, this is my Azure portal you have in here. So you can type in something, like an Azure Devops organization, or you can simply type organizations in here, ORG. So it'll try to show you the DevOps organization here. Click on this Azure DevOps organization. So once you click on that particular icon or the link over there, so it'll try to pull you navigate to this particular page in here. And in this page at the bottom, you can see my Azure DevOps organization link. Okay, so just click on this particular link in here. So now it will try to open a very new page for you where it will be showing you the place where to create your organization. So I already have my organization created, guys. For that reason being, I can see on left hand side I can see two things mainly. One like default directory, and another my Microsoft account. So if you are a Microsoft account, you please switch over to default directory in here. Don't try to create under your Microsoft account. Try to move to your default directory. So once you're in default directory in here, on the right hand side, probably you may be seeing create a new organization for you. So you may not see all this particular stuff what I see in here, but you simply see that create a new organization. So what you do, go ahead and click on my create new organization. So just click on continue. So this will try to provide you the organization name. So this will be based upon a user ID what you have. So this is like dev.azure.com. Within this particular domain, your new organization will be created in here. So now where you want to create your organization, again, if you want, you can choose your East, West, whatever you have in here, East Asia. So you have very few things with respect to my organization level in here. So Brazil, we have Southeast Asia, all those things. So I'm trying to keep with going the same old thing like South India. So what you do, you can go ahead and type in your things what you have in here. So it's a GKYH, and don't give any space in here. Try to continue from there again. So the second line as well. HX6 and W. So I think this is a small Y in here. So let me make a small change. Let's see. If it's wrong, it will try to ask one more time to go it. So click on continue. So we'll try to go ahead and we'll try to create your new DevOps organization for us. So this will be there already for you guys. So you have to go and work on into your organization level in here. But yeah, see, I can create my new organization successfully. I can see my things got created 0731 in here. Okay, so this is my older one which is already there earlier, and this is my new this is my 371 is my new one which is got created just now. Okay, so what you do is like you can, after creating the organization, you can see create a project to start. Okay, so now for now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to go to my 0731, and at the bottom you can see organization settings. So I want to delete, I don't want to keep it in here. I want to delete my organization in here. So just go down, delete the organization. Just copy and paste it and delete. So this is what I'm trying to delete my existing organization or the new one which I just created in here. Okay. So go home. These things coming up in here. Now I can see only one organization again in here. So now once you create the organization, go and click on your the things in here. So I can see one organization and I can see create a project to get started. So I'm trying to provide some name called as web application in here. So let me go first of all back to my local drive. So when you're trying to down close the things, I don't have the same name in here. I already have it. So I'm going to delete this one. So go back and here I'm trying to mention my project name as web application. Okay, some project name what you want to mention in here, or you can mention something like your bank name or what other name you want to provide. If you want to have all the repositories to be created on the same project, or else you can provide a different application name with respect to each project in here as we discussed earlier. So if we provide description and a mandatory, you can see two things in here, public and private. So private is one which will be able to view this project. Only people you trying to provide the access. But this is one for everybody who is in the internet. So I don't want to go to my public. I would have to go create my private in here. And to have my boards, to create an agile methodology. So if you see advanced level, I have see my work item process is a basic one. So I can choose my Scrum in here. Scrum, so where it helps us to get my Azure boards created as per my, the current standards what we have in here. So choose Scrum in here, and what you do, click on create project. So once you create project in here, automatically by default you can see one repository will be created in here automatically. So the repository name also will be the same exactly what you provide for the web, project name in here. So here I provided something like web application. Similarly, your repository name also should be web application created by default. Okay, this is the name of my repository in here. So go back in here. See, this is my name of my, the web application. So name of my project, and I can see my repos. This is my repos in here. So repos is saying that web application is empty. Here my name of my repos is also is provided as a web application in here. So if you want to create more repositories, see, create new repository, or you can import the repository by providing the URL as well. You can even do this particular part. Suppose you saw some kind of code somewhere in your Google. So if you want, just provide that URL in here. Suppose you say import repository, provide the clone URL and provide the URL in here and clone it. Automatically you can create a new repository in here with the code what you saw on Google. Okay, so even you can try this particular importing a repositories in here. So if you want to create more repositories, go with your this particular new repository in here. But currently I'm having only one repository, and that name is web application in here, as well as my project name is also web application in here. Okay, so once you create my project, I can see boards. See, I can see repos, or I can see my pipelines. So these three are very, very important: boards, repos, and pipelines in here. So let's see what we have in boards in here. So this is not really related to your DevOps piece, guys. So this is just for our understanding purpose, because when you're in real-time perspective, when you're trying to go with the status calls or standby calls, so they'll be opening the boards in here and they'll try to, they try to see the tracking purpose, how to track all the things in here. So it will be better if you are trying to have a knowledge before getting the things into here. For that reason being, to have a better knowledge on your tracking purpose, your works and all those things, we are trying to go and trying to create this particular Azure boards in here. So let's get back again as usual. I think to draw it again. So let me open up my drawing sheet here. So where I can draw my things. So where this is again same old stuff what we all discussed earlier. Like I'm trying to have a requirement, for example. Okay, so I'm trying to have a requirement in here, and again the same requirement. What is that? I want to save the items in a cart. You know, you have a Flipkart, you have a, you know, you have a Amazon, you have a Snapdeal. So what the thing is, like, you know, you want to save the items in the cart level, but I don't want to purchase it immediately. So a couple of days later on, I want to come back to my log account again, but I want to still see my products which have been added earlier, and from there I want to proceed again further to purchase my items in here. So save the items in cart and purchase them later on. This is what my scenario is. So this is your total story. This is my whole things in here. So what I'm trying to do here, I'm trying to split this whole story into two different small pieces in here. So first half, something like, you know, save the items in the cart, the first half, and I would like to go with the second half as well. What is that? Nothing but my purchase the items in the cart or later on. So purchase the items from cart in here, or purchase the items which is already there in the cart later in here. Okay, so this is a separate requirement. Now this is a whole total requirement. What I'm trying to do, I'm trying to divide into two multiple things in here. If you take this as a whole movie in here, so this is your first half of your movie and this is the second half of the movie, before interval, after interval. Okay, so I'm trying to divide into two small things in here. The similar case, now what I want to do to reach my first half, so I need to start from my titles, right? To reach to my interval, what I have to do, I need to start from my titles, and after titles I need to introduce my hero, introduce my heroine, and I need to introduce my villain. Slowly I'll try to build up my movie story until I reach my interval, right? So similarly here as well, to complete the first half of my requirement, I need to do lot many things. As you saw, like, you know, the introduction of your hero is one task, introduction of your heroine is one task, introduction of villain is one more task. So these are different, you know, the work set you have to do to complete or to come to my interval part of my movie in here. Similarly here as well, to complete my task in here, I may be having multiple designs to complete my first you know, first half of my task. To complete my first half of my task, I need to go with my multiple designs in here. Design 1, or, you know, or design 2, design 3, or, you know, kind of a design 4. So these are what are different designs where I am trying to create to have my first half of my task to be completed in here. So this is what my design 2. Similarly, this is my design 3, and similarly this is my design 4, in here. Similarly, I may be having 3 more designs to have my second half of my part to be complete in here. Okay, so when you're trying to complete this 4 in here, it means that I have completed my first half. When I complete my, you know, the rest of 3 in here, that means I'm trying to complete my second half of my things in here. When first half and second half is completed, it means that I have completed my whole requirement in here. So again to complete my design 1, I'm trying to go with my, you know, different task which has been required in here. So it's a task 1 in here. Similarly, I'll be having one more with respect to my task 2 in here. The similar kind of cases I can find for my rest of my cases. So like for design 2, I may be a separate task, multiple tasks in here. So design 3, I may be having a separate things in here. Similarly, for my design 4, I may being a separate task. So it's not a mandate that only 2 tasks per design. You can have 1 task only, or you can have 3 tasks, or you may be having other things as well in here. So as per the requirement what you have. Similar kind of stuff. So to complete my second half as well, what I'll do, I'll try to have my multiple tasks in here. So what I'm trying to do in here, I'm trying to divide, I'm trying to go my whole requirement into very small pieces in here. I'm trying to go with very granular mode in here. I'm trying to split my whole task into very small tasks in here. So if I complete my these two tasks, it means the design one is done. When I complete my these two tasks, design two is done. When I complete my these two tasks in here, when I complete my these two tasks, my design 3 is done. Similarly, finally, design 4. So it's like, to reach to one goal, I need to complete something in here. To reach to the other goal, I need to complete these 4 in here. So this is like interdependence, all the things are interdependencies in here. So now within your Azure level, the main thing what you have, this is called as what? Epic, or is called as your user story. So within your cloud level, within Azure cloud level, the main scenario, the main requirement what you have, that has been called as Epic or my other user story in Azure. And what are these are? If this is a parent, these are nothing but my child, right? These are my child to my parent in here. So when you have a whole story, these are nothing but my features of my story in here. These are my child to my parent in here. So this is called as a features to my respect to my epic what I have in here. So these are called, this is actually one what. So these are the main things, so features of a main story. So this is your actual plan to complete my two halves, two main requirements in here. So I would say this is my actual plan in here. So where you're trying to keep your all this particular plan, so I'll try to keep that in a plan called as so backlog items. Backlog item. So backlog item is the one where it contains the all the total plan to complete your main requirement what you have in here. So like it's something like before traveling or before doing something, you will try to note down all each every pinpoint of things what you have to do, right? So same thing in here. So you have to write down all the things what you have to complete to do, or you have to what are the things you have to do to complete the main task in here, to complete the features in here. So these things will be this is a total plan what you have, and those things will be available in your backlog items. These are I would say backlog product items in here. Backlog product items in here. Okay, so this is the contains what it contains the total plan, it contains all the designs what you have in here. And again, under each plan, what the minimum steps, what are the the basic steps I have to follow to complete each design in here, for each plan in here. So these are called what? These are called as my task which has been placed under my backlog things in here. So when you talk about your real-time perspective, when they talk about epic or user stories, that means it is, they're talking about your actual feature or actual requirement, what they want to go within here. Similarly, when they're trying to talk about features, it means that it's a part of your main user story in here. So backlog product items is nothing but this is the total plan, what you need to do to reach to your main goal in here, to complete your main stuff in here. So under each design, again under the total plan what you have in here, under each thing what are the minimum steps you have to follow, what are the minimum things, the main tasks you have to complete your each and every main plan in here. So these are called as what? Task. Okay, so now what generally what will happen in real-time perspective, guys? So now my first task will be taken care, and my developer will start developing the things in here. So my developer will go ahead and start writing the code. Okay, so once your developer completes writing the code, what he will do, he will try to push your things to my testers. So meanwhile, once or let me make this way, start writing the code in here, And once the code is written, so what they'll do, they'll try to provide the things to my testers in here. So once your developer completes writing the code in here, and once it moves the things to my testers, your developer will not sit idle in here. So, but they'll try to start writing. They try to start writing the code for my task to what you have in here. So again, the same old stuff will be repeated. Your developer will start writing the code for my second part of the things in here, second task of my first design in here. So earlier you complete the whole part in here, they may take 3 to 4 months of time to complete my whole stuff. Think that it's like a kind of a big new brand new requirement and you will develop a lot. So you may take 3 to 4 months of time to complete the whole stuff. But now since you're trying to work on very small piece in here, do you take the same time again? What you try to go with all the features and all the things, all the code in single one point of time in here? No, right? So to complete the whole stuff in single shot, I mean, only development part should be done first, then later testing part, and then you want to go with your what deployment part. So when you're in waterfall methodology, you should do all those things earlier, but now not the case. The whole requirement is not been developed in single point of time in here, or only development part will start in here. No people will be testing, no people will be deploying. That was there earlier, but now it's not the case. Why? Because I have split it by all the things into small pieces in here, and I can see I'm starting with my very small piece of my whole development. Since it's very small piece, the developer may take just 2 days or 3 days of time to complete just 5% of your work in here. So taking this total 100% of your work, just having only one task, they may take only 10% or 5% of your work. So just trying to complete your 5% of work may not take more than 2 to 3 days of time in here, right? So that is how you developer do that, developing the code in here. So after 3 days, on the fourth day, they'll be handed over to my testers. So once they're handed to my testers, your developer will not sit idle. They'll start developing for my task 2 in here. So they do the development part and they start writing the code in here. So they may take 1 or 2 days of time to test the code, and finally what they have done, so they have moved to things to my deployment team in here. So what deployment team will do? They'll go ahead and they'll try to deploy my things within your web application or in your virtual machine, so on things in here. So once my testers move my pass the confirmation or provide the confirmation that yes, my code is looking good, you go ahead and deploy the code in here. Now tester will not sit idle again. So they'll try to start testing my things for my task 2 in here, because by that time this particular coding part may be already done. So once my task to code is being provided to my testers, again you developer will not sit idle. They'll try to go with my third task again in here. So this is like, continuous cycle keep on repeating in here until my total all the tasks what I have will be completed. Okay, so for everything what I have in here should be completed. All the tasks what I have, it should be completed in here. So until this is completed, everybody will keep on working in parallel in here. Okay, so sometimes they may be taking only one task as per the as per the requirement, or sometimes they may add two tasks in here. So they may add task 1 and task 2 in here, or they may add the task 1 or task 2 at the same time. They may also start my task 1 of my third design as well. So it's up to the requirement, up to the size of the requirement they have in here. So how they want to go with, they can go with and they can start things in here. So every phase, like the environment of your developer, your tester, and your deployment people, and every phase, environment of all the people in here. The thing is like how long they try to complete the things in here. Of course, they're trying to handle very small pieces of the work, but how much time they try to take in here to complete the whole stuff. So as per the standards, when you are agile methodology, so you have to complete the whole stuff within 2 weeks of time in here. That's it, not more than that. So within this 2 weeks of time, I should complete my code, test your own testing, I mean unit testing, provide that to the testers, The tester should test the code and finally provide that to my deployment team. So deployment should happen. So all this releasing part, everything should happen within just 2 weeks of time in here. So and these 2 weeks of time, they are called as, called as sprints. So this is a sprint one, I would say. This is sprint one. Similarly, to complete my second flow, this is my 2 weeks of time, and this would say sprint two. Similarly, again, my third one, what I have in here, So this will be again, this is like a sprint three in here. So this is sprint three within the same 2 weeks of time again in here. So this is like keep on continuing. All the sprints will keep on continuing until you complete the total task in here. So this is like sprint one, sprint two, sprint three, where each sprint you'll be having a multiple task based upon the size. You can have multiple tasks can be added in here. Okay. So now when you are having the sprint level things in here, or when you're trying to come, when I say that okay, you have to complete within 2 weeks of time, but what is actually happening, like there will be one person who will be running behind, so that he can track your work set, so that he can know where you are, what you're working on, so what is the current status of your work set, what you're trying to do in here, so everything. Who is that? That particular person is called as your scrum master. So scrum master is the one, is like a person who will be, this is a scrum master is a kind of role, will be assigned to a person mostly from your client side. So what this person will do, whether he'll try to check what is the current status of my task in here. So on the day one, suppose that my sprint just started today. Okay, so my sprint just started to, for example, start on 3rd of my March, so it ends on 17th because it needs 2 weeks of time in here. So within these 2 weeks of time, I need to complete my whole process. So on day one of the things in here, my scrum master will go ahead and touch base with my developer. Ask you, boss, developer, what's your status? So developer may say that yeah, I have done my analysis part in here, and I started my development part as well. So I would say 10% is been done. Very good. So tomorrow again, developer, what's the process? What's the progress? So it's been 50% completed. Day 3, 70%. Day 4, 100% completed, and I send out an email to my testers to take care of my testing part. So now on day 6, testers, what's the progress? So they were coming up saying that yes, we have time to start the things in here. So our percent is 10%. On day 7, 20%. That is similarly 100% finally. And only last 2 hours finally they come to my deployment team and ask what's the progress. So yes, deployment has been completed. So we have submitted the CRs, and we are ready to go with the things, and we'll intimate you once the deployment part will be done. Very good. So all the things what you have in your each and every pinpoint of your fail, the cycle of year will be managed or will be taken care by a scrum master in here. So how the things have been tracked in here? So is it like simply going asking in the call, or do he note somewhere? Do he write all the the things on somewhere? Yes, he'll try to note all the things, he'll try to mention all the things somewhere. So where is that? That is nothing but called as your Azure boards. Okay, so Azure board is the one where you can track your work set. So see here, I can have my epic created, I can have a feature, I can have a product backlog item, I can have my task in here. So all those things can be created within my Azure level itself. So you no need to go out of your Azure box in here. So even your, the kind of your tracking of your work set kind of option is also available within your Azure level in here. Okay. So we'll try to see how can you track it. Is it like how can you load the things in here? How can you track the things? How can you create your respective task in here? All those things. So up to this level, any questions, guys? So what we saw just now, this part, right then. So let's jump over. Let's try to, as discussed, let's try to see the first point, creating of a epic. What's epic? Save the items in the cart and purchase them later on. So go back here. So I'm going to the boards level, and here I'm trying to create my epic. So bug, impediment, and test cases will be taken care by your testers. So we will not take care of that particular part anyway. So let me go with epic. So here I can see my enter my title. Just provide the main epic what you're trying to go within here. So here you can see lot many things, guys. So one is like, the very first tab you can see to whom you want to assign it. So I can see my name in here. So if you're trying to add more people to your project, you should be able to see all the members list within your this particular drop down in here. So just choose the member you want to assign the things in here. And yes, it's a new one. So keep it is, and you have to provide the description. What do you want to actually do in here? The same thing. I want to save the items in the cart and purchase them later on. So actors, this is the description. It's just trying to explain you what is this particular, the user story is for. What is this particular epic is for. But acceptance criteria is a little bit different. So this is something, this will try to explain us what your end user is looking for. So this is what I need to take care, but what your end user looking for. So you have to hear acceptance criteria means what is the output they're looking for out of this particular user story in here. So how the output should be, what is the output you should have in here. So all those details will be available within your acceptance criteria. Okay, for example, I want to build a cycle. So just provide the description here. The epic is building a cycle in here. So in description as well, go ahead and build a cycle. But what is acceptance criteria? Acceptance criteria is something, the cycle should have a handle. The handle should have a brakes. The handle should have a bell. It also should have a seat. It should have a pedals. When I click on my pedal, or when I try to put my pressure on my pedal, my cycle should move forward. So my cycle length should be so and so. I mean, it should be in blue in color. So it's like a accept it in detailed requirement of your requirement what you have in here. So acceptance criteria means something like, how your end user is looking, what they're expecting, what they're anticipating in here with respect to your epic what you're having in here. So description is just a description, overall description. Okay, go ahead and build a cycle where you can move it, and you can, it's like overall part you can have in here. It's not in detailed steps, but this one acceptance criteria may contain in detailed steps what you're actually your end users are looking for. So how the output should be there, this is what they're looking for, all those things. So in detailed steps you should have your acceptance criteria in here. Okay, so you can say that. Okay, yeah, when I save, when I say the items to the cart, it should be saved. When I come, or when I log on later, I should see the items in the cart. Also, I should be able to proceed with my purchase from there onwards. So this is about, they're trying to provide you in detailed steps what they want to, what they're looking for in here. So they want to mention each and every pinpoint of things what they're expecting to do in here. So description is like overview. This is something like in detailed steps what you have in here. See, when I save the items in the cart, it should be saved forever. Forever. until I either delete them, until I delete them, or I purchase them, whatever it is, purchase the items, either of the case. So it's trying to provide in detailed steps what you have in here. So that is the acceptance criteria in here. Okay, so your description is different and your acceptance criteria is different in here. And coming next, you have discussions. So this is the place where you have to provide the comments to your subscriber, sorry, to your some scrum master. So before starting with the call, for example, today we have a call at 7 p.m. So before starting up the call, what I want to do, like I want to say that I'm a developer. I would say that I have done the analysis part, 10% of development is completed, for example. So go and save it. So when you save it, automatically I can see my name in here commented just now is saying that okay, I have done the analysis part and 10% of my work is done. Very good. So here Scrum Master can open your the epic in here, and he can see the comments in here, and based upon that particular comments he can understand what's happening in here. If you do not write any comments, tomorrow you may come back again and say that okay, now I have completed 20% 50% of work in it. So tomorrow, this thing there is a tomorrow in here, you can say that I have what happened, epic. Yeah, so later on I can say that I have completed 50% of development part. I can go and save it. So you should be able to you should be able to write the things in here. So just committed now, or this is a few minutes later before, or think this is yesterday and this is today. So yesterday you're trying to say 10%, now you're saying that 50% development part is done. So by seeing the comments as well, your Scrum Master can move forward easily. So it's not like you try to come with every person, and every person you'll try to point to every person in here and ask you what's the progress, what's the progress. Nobody will ask you because there may be a very huge team in here. So they can't, this 30 minutes of time of your call may not be enough to complete to cover all the people in here. So we being a person, working persons in here, it's our responsibility to update the ticket so that while in the call it will open the things and try to see the comments in here, and based upon that they move forward. If there is no comment for today, then that case they may point you asking you what's the progress. I don't see any update in here. So in that case they may ask you. Okay, so discussions is a one, or you can clear, you can directly put in here my development is done now at the rate of testers. Please go ahead, please start your testing. And what you do, you try to simply assign this to your testing team in here. So you can go and you can assign this to testing team in here if you want, or else simply save it. So everybody, when there is a update happen in here, when there is update happen, automatically the team which is working for this particular epic, for a whole team, your email will be sent out saying that this is what happened. So there is a one updated comment for the so and so epic in here. So you have to look into that, and based upon that you can go and see the things in here. So I can see each and every comment right from my starting of my the user story until my end of my things in here. So this is your how can write down the discussions. So your description, your acceptance criteria, and discussions are based on, are very important with respect to my things in you. So based on the acceptance criteria only, your developer will start developing the things in here. So based on the acceptance criteria only, your tester will start testing the things in here. Okay, so acceptance criteria is very important. And you can see here something like status. I can see my start date and I can see my target date. So here, this is what my epic. Epic means it's not like I'll try to complete in 2 weeks of time. It's the main feature in here. So how many sprints I'm trying to take in here? Sprint 1, sprint 2, or sprint 3, sprint 4, sprint 5, taking these to sprint 6, sprint 7, and sprint 8. 8 sprints means 8 to 16 weeks. So 16 weeks means almost 4 months, right? So 4 months per week, month. So 4 weeks per month in here. So it should be 4 months in here. So for the same reason being, I can say that this particular epic can be completed right from the starting date, right from today, and 4 months, right? So 4 months means it should be April, May, June, and July. So by July, I should complete my things in here on the same second of my things in here. So third, starting with 3rd of March, completing with 2nd of your June in here. So this is the total time period what you're trying to take for respect to epic to be completed in here. And again, so it's not like only one epic you have, you maybe have multiple user stories or multiple epics available within your backlog items in here, within your list in here. So which one I have to pick first? So what's the priority in here? So you may be having 1, 2, 3, 4 priorities. The first priority means it's a critical. So I have to choose, I have to complete this particular work at any cost. So if you have any work to be done, then you have to choose the first P1 as the first one in here because it's a critical part to be completed first. So later on P2 and P3 and P4. So if you're trying to say P4, it's not a mandatory actually. So it's not really required to complete right away. So when you have time, when you have a bandwidth, then you can go ahead and you can choose those P4. But you have to make sure that you don't have any other epics which is having P1 or P2 or P3 on here. So P1 mostly you may not see, but P2. So P1 is very critical, guys. On the same day, they have to complete the things in here. On the same, you have to complete the things in here. Okay, so it's very critical. But it's like an expedite in here. So we have to expedite things in here. Expedite means we have to make it very quick. We have to make it very fast in here. So generally we use the term please expedite the things in here. So please expedite means please make sure you have to complete it very as soon as possible. So very quick. It's urgent requirement in here. So P1, so generally we'll be having P2s or P3s mostly. Okay. So efforts, so how many hours you may take totally for this one, all those things you have to put in here. So all those things will be taken care of by Scrum Master anyway. So business value, is it like retail or banking, all those things in here. So banking value, business area, so it's architecture or business. So you can talk with the business in here where you're trying to start the developing part in with respect to business. Architecture means it's still planning phases. So you're trying to start your plan, you're trying to start your project here. It's still planning phases you are into. So when you talk about all, so these are everything we have in here, where description, your acceptance criteria, discussion, your status, your details, your priorities, all those things will be have within your epic. And the similar kind of stuff you can see for your other things as well, for your features, or where is that? Okay, for your features, for your backlog product item, and for your task as well. Okay, so mainly your scrum master is the who's the one who is responsible in filling up all your descriptions and your acceptance criteria. So discussions anyway, the based upon the things like from in under which team this particular ticket is in and whose bucket your ticket is in. Currently, those people have to comment with the things in it so that the scrum master can understand the status of your work that you're trying to do in it. And all other things what you see in here will be filled by a scrum master only. So finally save it. Okay, so this is your epic, guys. So I'll stop here. Tomorrow I will try to create my features and backlog items and tasks in here, and at the same time what I'll do, I will try to create a link between my features. Suppose you see a feature 1, feature 2. So how do I know that these two feature belongs to this epic only? Because in a real-time perspective, you can see multiple features, multiple effects in here. So in that scenario, how can I relate the things in here? How can I know this feature belongs to this epic only? So I need to create a kind of a workflow in here. So I'll try to link up all those things so that every, right from task level, right from epic level, either way, either from epic to task or task to epic, I can see with respect to my workflow level in here. So how can you link those things with respect to my boards level in here? We'll see all those things in tomorrow's class. Okay. So I hope you got an idea now what is Azure boards, what we're trying to do in here, what is Epic, all those things in here. So any questions, guys?
Shyam, here I have one question here. So basically, it's a agile development life cycle, right? So that it's similar, right? So
Yeah.
so basically, yeah. So is there any separate like creating of stories for DevOps work? Like for example, if we need to create any storage account or app service or something like that. So for that also, we'll create a new stories and we'll track in this way only. Or
You can create it. This is just for application level, I told you. But if you want to,
yeah,
yeah, you
okay.
can tickets. Just provide things in here, and that will assign to your DevOps people, DevOps administration people. The similar way, I'm just having an example, guys. So you can
Okay,
create
okay.
a story and you can assign that to your DevOps team directly. So that will be a different level. This is not the, this is the application level I'm talking about, the gathering, the things, all the things I'm talking about. Yes, you can have your own separate epic, separate things for your DevOps as well. You can get one more epic. You can get one more things in here with respect to your DevOps people as well. Not a problem.
Okay, similar way we need to follow that work also, right?
Yeah, same thing. The similar way as you did it, you just follow the same thing.
I mean, in real time, they follow same way, like creating a new epic for that work, and it will assign to corresponding Azure
Exactly.
DevOps engineer,
Yeah, it will
DevOps
be
team.
assigned to respect to people in here.
Okay, and for that also there will be a QA person. Uh,
Sorry?
for that work also there is a separate QA person for that. I mean, for example, a developer DevOps engineer created an app service.
No,
So
no.
after
See
that,
here, the Scrum Master will be same in here. So we will not have different Scrum Masters in. Scrum Master
no,
will
no,
be same
I'm
in.
not. No, no, I'm not
Yeah.
talking about Scrum Master.
Uh-huh.
I mean, the developer, I mean, DevOps engineer completed by for creating that storage account or app service he created and everything deployed. After that, that particular Epic assigned to QA resource, there is no QA resource for DevOps work.
So creating of resources is not required, right? So when you're trying to see, you may provide that to Q as well. So, because once you create your web application, there may be some kind of dummy data inside
Mhm.
there. So what tester will do is they'll go ahead and try to click on the URL and you should see the web page coming up. So if the web page is coming
Correct,
up
correct. Mm.
successfully, then yes, it's looking good for us. So it's a minor one, Jitendra.
Correct.
So it's not
Yeah,
really
yeah.
required, but if
Mm.
you want, you can assign that if you want to follow the process.
Okay, okay. Just in real time, just I'm asking that kind of work will be there for tester or not. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be there. Data perspective will be have for everything. They'll be, because for everything to be deployed, there should be sign off over by a client, and client will be signing off only when the testers confirm the results.
Okay.
Okay then, guys. Then we can wind up for today. We'll meet tomorrow same time with more concepts on your features and your backlog product items, all those things. Thank you, guys, and have a great day. Bye bye.
Yeah. Thank you.